Howdy, this is Michael Good from reapertrades.com, and this is your daily trade recap on the 13th day of January 2010. Here we have the chart, the multi-month chart of ECOB. And as you can see, this is its first day. It broke below the support of about 85 cents here, which it had touched twice, yesterday and 2 days before that. So we closed today down 13%. Just at 79 cents, so that's very, very good. I'll probably look to cover most of my position tomorrow. I covered about 3,000 shares today at an average price of about 83 cents. It's nice to give me just a little bit of realized profit on that. I still have 27,000 shares at this. One question I asked is, what exactly is a forced buy-in? Why am I so afraid of them? Now, when you short a share of stock, you borrow that share from somebody who owns the stock, who's long the stock. And if that person then sells the stock to someone else, then you can no longer borrow from them. That share that you've borrowed has to go to that person they sold it to. So if that happens, normally your broker can borrow from anyone at the brokerage. There really isn't a good market for borrowing shares between brokerages. So let's say somebody else at IB bought ECOB because they believed in the pump and dump, and that is, I believe, what happened. A lot of people that believe these crappy penny pumps have IB as their broker. Why? Because you have these very cheap per share commissions. So once I get the borrow on that, once that person sells to someone at another brokerage, I'm going to lose that borrow, and 3 days later the trade will fail. It's going to be a failure to deliver. 3 days after a trade, the shares have to be delivered. If there are no shares because I've borrowed those shares, then IB has to yank those shares away from me and give them to whoever the sucker sold their pumped up stock to. I guess the second sucker. So I pay attention all the time to how many shares are available at IB. If there aren't any shares available to short, like there weren't this morning and for most of the day yesterday, and that continues for a few days, then there's a very good chance that I'll lose the borrow on the stock and I'll be forced to cover. It's called a forced buy-in. You'll get a notice from IB. Usually it's in your message box. So it would blink right up here. You'd get an email, say forced buy-in likely, and then you're going to have to, hold on a second, let's postpone this. Okay, and then you're going to have to cover that. And if you don't cover that by the end of the day, they cover it for you, and usually at not very good prices. So that's a forced buy-in. I'm afraid of those because I've had large short positions in illiquid stocks that then had a forced buy-in. Just by myself, I've created like a almost 20% short squeeze in one stock. So that's not something I want to repeat. So I'm always careful to monitor that. Now it's good because shares to short have opened up some more on ECOB as I've covered, and some other people have covered, and maybe some more people, some more suckers have bought. Who knows? But that's good, so I'm not worried so much anymore. But I always pay attention to that, and I try not to plan on holding the shares for more than a few days. Okay, trades today. ECOB covered 3,000 at 83 cents, realized $300 in profit, still holding 27,000. Peaks, that was a Tim Sykes Tim alert. I lost 140 bucks. He made $2 grand on a very large position. Unfortunately, the great trade would have been shorting right on that spike. Other than that, it mostly just went sideways or holding overnight and covering into the morning panic. But still, high volume, really high volume stock, sort of choppy. Then BPAC, I held overnight, sold it sold half just right at the open, and half of a few minutes later, and realized negative 30 cents in profit, or a 30-cent loss, no biggie. And I'm gapping overnight. ISPI, Gazoo, MDCE, they're all pumps, they're all crappy, and I'm making sure to go back and keep my position sizes pretty equal on these, so if I suffer a loss on one, I'll still be okay, as long as I have some sort of gains on the others. If I'd done the same thing with MDCE and WTKN, I would have been fine because I made 17% on MDCE, but the negative 46% on my huge position on WTKN is what killed me. So that's it. Thanks a lot. Check me out next time. reapertrades.com.